Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Wish, making $7.7 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $42 million and a worldwide total of $81 million. So any chances for this movie pulling another Elemental have probably been thrown out the window, folks, as this movie took a big hit this weekend. It fell 61% from last weekend, which is already bad enough for a big blockbuster, but for an animated movie especially, this is very disappointing. Now granted, it was the weekend after Thanksgiving, and kids are going back to school. Not many families would be going to the movies as much as they would do the weekend prior, but still, given the fact that the word of mouth has already been this bad enough and it was still not able to have a better second weekend drop off than the likes of Encanto and even Strange World, is rather upsetting. This is looking like it's going to be a pretty big disappointment overall. Yeah, it's going to surpass 100 million worldwide, but the budget was 200 million, folks, so that ain't really good when put into consideration there. Like I said already, the word of mouth on this has been pretty bad. It just doesn't seem like a lot of people are really interested in seeing this movie, and those who've had are not encouraging others to go check this out. And this is looking like it's going to be the second major animated flop of the year after Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which sucks to see given how successful of a year it's been for the medium of animation at the box office. Certainly an improvement over last year, and also how much Disney was hyping this up. This was supposed to be their big celebration of 100 years of Disney movie magic, and unfortunately this movie is turning out to be a big disappointment overall. So yeah, unfortunately Wish is probably going to end its run in the top 5 as a big disappointment. It doesn't look likely that it's going to be the big big celebration of the year for Disney, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty big flop overall. Unfortunately, it doesn't even have that much time left before the other big family movies come out the holiday season. Things just aren't looking very good for this movie, sadly. Number 4 was Trolls Band Together, making $7.8 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $75 million and a worldwide total of $161 million. So it was a much tighter race for the number 4 spot than I think a lot of people expected it to be. Just around $100,000 difference between these two movies, but it was Trolls 3 that came out on top. Yes, it still had a heftier than expected drop off from the previous weekend, but I think this one in particular was large in part due to the fact that it was the weekend after Thanksgiving, because the word of mouth on this has been leaning much more positive than that of Wish. It seems like, once again, this was the animated movie more people wanted to see, and it's definitely reaping the success right now. It's $25 million away from surpassing 100 million domestically, which, given where it's at, I think it'll be able to do, and 40 million away worldwide from surpassing 200 million worldwide, which would be over the film's doubling point of its $95 million budget, and also another solid milestone for the movie to surpass. And I also think it's going to be able to do that. Once again, the word of mouth has been very solid, given the fact that this movie was very well budgeted, just $95 million, and the legs on this seem to be very strong. And once again, it seems like this was the major animated movie people wanted to go and check out, and I think it'll continue to leg out very well before all the other big holiday family movies. Like Wish, it doesn't have a lot of time before those movies come out. Wonka is in 2 weeks, Migration is the week after. Not a lot of time, but still, the movie is already in such a good spot for itself right now. I don't think it's going to be anything to be really worried about. Well, they still need to worry, but not to the degree of worrisome, you know what I mean? So yeah, another solid weekend for Trolls Band Together. It was able to get the jump over Wish, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting it to. And yeah, right now it's looking like the big animated movie of the moment. Number 3 was Godzilla Minus One, opening with $11 million this weekend domestically, and $34 million worldwide. So we have another neat little surprise here with Godzilla Minus One. I wasn't sure if this movie was going to really, blow the doors off of anyone this weekend, but it certainly did. It was able to make enough to crack the top 3, which I wasn't expecting given the lack of marketing I saw for it. But yeah, Godzilla is such a significant figure, and with this being as acclaimed as it has been, people calling this the best Godzilla movie in years, I see no reason why this movie wasn't able to surprise. A lot of people were very interested and excited to see this movie, and it's reaping the rewards again. This movie only cost, believe it or not, folks, $15 million to make, and given its opening domestically, that is more than enough to qualify this as a box office success, and worldwide it's already doubled that. So Godzilla already off to a fantastic start here, and we'll see how much further it can go, although I don't know how much further it can go because apparently this is a very limited release. Apparently it's only going to be playing in theaters until the 7th, which I find to be a bit odd given how successful this weekend is. So maybe they'll have a change of heart. Maybe they'll extend its limited run for a couple more weeks just to see how much further it can go, because it would be really absent-minded of them to just have this opening weekend be as successful as it is and completely just abandon that altogether within a week. So, but who knows? Maybe they'll have a change of heart. Maybe they'll stick to it. I don't know. But otherwise, as far as this weekend goes, this is a fantastic start to see another surprise for the box office right now. I couldn't be any happier to see something like this appear in the top 3. Number 2 was The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, making $14 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $120 million and a worldwide total of $243 million. So The Hunger Games was able to put up a good fight this weekend, even though falling to second place. It only dropped 51%, which, given it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, that's a pretty solid hold in my book. It officially surpassed its initial budget domestically, which is great, and has also surpassed its doubling point worldwide significantly. This is one of the biggest movies right now. I think it's safe to say that this is going to crack 300 million worldwide very soon. 150 domestically seems not out of the picture. We'll see if it has enough legs and enough power to get to the top 10 grossing films of the year. There is a high bar to enter that club, and I'm not sure, even with how solid of a word of mouth this movie has, if it's going to get to crack the top 10. But still, it shouldn't be discouraged that this is still a huge success. Certainly one of the biggest maybe if not the biggest movie of the moment right now. I think it's got enough legs and enough solid word of mouth and reception that it can maybe even carry itself throughout Christmas if it's lucky, given that there's not really a lot of competition for it to face off until that point. So yeah, once again, another solid weekend for The Hunger Games. Definitely the biggest movie of the moment right now. Not much more else to say except good job. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, opening with $21 million this weekend domestically and $27 million worldwide. This is the 5th biggest opening for a concert movie, knocking the Jonas Brothers out of the top 5, but still sitting behind Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, Michael Jackson's This Is It, Justin Bieber's Never Say Never, and Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. As I expected it, I thought this movie would have a much better than expected opening, given how Beyonce is just this significant figure. Everyone knows who she is, and I think enough interest was there to go check this movie out. It certainly was able to exceed some people's expectations. Obviously not hitting the heights of Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. I think there was just a bigger marketing push for that, and certainly a lot more buzz and a lot more interest. You saw so many headlines about that movie, where this was just another concert movie. See it if you want to see more Beyonce and stuff like that, but this is still proving to be a much more successful avenue for the film industry than I think a lot of people expected it to, because still a 21 million opening for a concert movie is pretty impressive. We'll see how the legs are for this thing. It did get the third A+ cinema score this year after Sound of Freedom and Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, so I'm sure the Beehive is very happy about this movie, but we'll just have to wait and see if it can maintain strong legs, if it's front loaded or not, and can carry itself throughout the rest of the month, because once those bigger holiday movies comes out, I'm not too sure if this movie's gonna be as strong of a presence as it is now. But still, this is a pretty solid opening. I am curious to see where it goes. I don't think it's gonna reach the heights of Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, but if it can continue to exceed expectations in its own little way, then I wouldn't be opposed to it. But yeah, as far as its opening, this is a pretty solid start. Again, we'll see where it goes. If it plummets, oof, but if it can continue to exceed expectations, then we may see another sleeper hit on our hands. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend. And this weekend is looking like it's going to be a pretty slow one at the box office. The only new major wide release that I'm aware of is The Boy and the Heron. I'm expecting this to be like another Godzilla -1. Yeah, it shakes out the top 5 for sure. It's probably going to make enough to even crack the top 3, but given the lack of marketing I've seen for the film and general buzz interest, I'm not sure if it's going to really have as big of an opening as I think a lot of other people expecting it to. But if it does manage to surprise and exceed expectations, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Again, I'm all for like these smaller sleeper hits, surprises hitting the top 5 to shake things up. But we'll see how well that movie does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.